Hello everyone, this is Namrata. Hope you all are doing good and staying safe. In today's video session, we're going to cover another topic in Salesforce, which is Salesforce Optimizer. Here is the agenda for today's session. We're going to understand what is Salesforce Optimizer, what is the purpose of it, how can you access the Salesforce Optimizer and how can you run it. And then we'll also understand how to schedule it if you want to schedule it automatically or if you want to run it manually. How can you do that is something which we're going to understand. And then we will get into our demo. So let's understand what is Salesforce Optimizer. Salesforce Optimizer is a very effective tool and a powerful tool which will help to keep the Salesforce organization very clean. So this is a tool which can be used by our Salesforce administrators as well as our Salesforce developers. This Salesforce Optimizer helps us to identify the issues that require immediate attention and work towards the next steps in fixing or resolving those issues that we have identified using the Salesforce Optimizer. Now let us understand this Salesforce Optimizer in detail by using an example. Let's take an example, okay? In an organization, we may have created multiple reports as per our business use case or business requirement, right? However, not all the times, all the reports will be utilized. So in such cases, if you wanted to understand or know what all are the reports which are not used very frequently, then in that scenarios, you can make use of the Salesforce Optimizer. This Salesforce Optimizer will help you to know what all are the reports that are unused, and then you can take appropriate actions against those reports which are unused. Either you can go ahead and delete those reports which are not used very frequently, or you can talk to your business and take appropriate actions and make the report very effective so that it can be used by the business stakeholders and help them in an effective way. Now, let us take another example. There may be certain users who may be complaining about the performance page is very slow. So in such scenarios also, you can leverage the Salesforce Optimizer tool, which will help to identify the potential candidate for the cleanup. Likewise, there are various features which our Salesforce Optimizer can help to identify what is actually needed for the cleanup. What and all of the different features are required a cleanup. Like, for example, as I was mentioning, right, you have unused reports. That is something which you can find out using the Salesforce Optimizer. Likewise, you have any unused dashboards, unassigned permission sets, unassigned page layouts, and if you have unassigned record types. What is the field usage? If you have certain fields which are not used very frequently, then using the Salesforce Optimizer, you know that these are the certain fields which are not used so much. And then according to the report, you can take certain action items against those unused fields. Likewise, you have data storage limits. Data storage limits as per the organization data storage limit, Salesforce Optimizer will help us to know how much data is being utilized. And if we are exceeding or over the limit of the data storage, Salesforce Optimizer will let us know like what is actually required, what and all of the recommendation that Salesforce Optimizer provides, and how can you try to fix or resolve those issues. So those are certain features. I will do a deep dive in and make you understand like what and all of the different features that Salesforce Optimizer help us to identify the issues and help us to clean up your organization. So as it says here, Salesforce Optimizer application analyzes the features in an interactive and actionable format. Quickly identify the issues that require immediate attention by using the sortable list view. Salesforce Optimizer also helps in improving the features. If you have done any kind of customizations in your organization, it helps us to clean up the customization and reduces the complexity. And you can also consider running the Salesforce Optimizer as a part of your monthly maintenance before you install a new application, before each Salesforce release, or at least once a quarter. You can run the report as often as you want to keep on top of the maintenance activities. You can set the application to run automatically on the monthly basis, or if you want to run it manually, that is also something which you can do. I will walk you through in a while. So you can make use of the Salesforce Optimizer for both sandbox as well as your production environment. The other point that you have to remember is Salesforce Optimizer evaluates your organization metadata only. So how can you access the Salesforce Optimizer? So from the setup, you can enter the Optimizer. You will be able to open the Optimizer. As a step one, you have to ensure that you are enabling the Salesforce Optimizer by allowing the access. Step two, you have to decide if the application should automatically run or you have to run it manually. That is as a step two that you have to that you have to decide, and then you can open the Salesforce Optimizer. So permissions, these are the different permissions that are required in order to run the Salesforce Optimizer. Customize application, modify all data, and manage user permissions. So now let us log in into our Salesforce Devops and try to see how can you enable the Salesforce Optimizer and schedule the Salesforce Optimizer and verify a lot of other and take a look into the Optimizer application by itself. So let's log in into Salesforce Devops. So I have already logged in into my Salesforce Devops. So from the setup, if you see here on the left hand side, you have an optimizer. Click on it. So as I was mentioning, the Salesforce Optimizer app analyzes the features in an interactive and actionable format. As a step one, what you have to do is you have to allow access to enable the Salesforce Optimizer app. This step is required to use the app. So if the access is not provided, ensure that you are providing the access. Once you provide the access, that is step one, then you have to decide if the application should run automatically or you should run it manually. So as it says here, ideal best practices to monthly is recommended. That is, if you want to run monthly, you can run it. So when the optimizer is set, optimizer runs in the last week of each month. So where can you set that? Here you see, right? You have a drop down, run monthly. So when you run monthly, it says optimizer run schedule. It is scheduled monthly. Now, if you don't want to run it automatically, then what you can do, you can click on no schedule run and optimizer run stopped, no schedule runs. If you want to run it manually, you can open this, open optimizer, or you can also open it from the app launcher. How can you open it from this app launcher? You see these dots, right? Click on it and in the search, find the optimizer. You see here the Salesforce Optimizer application, right? So you can also open from here. Now let us try to open the Salesforce Optimizer. So this is the Salesforce application, Salesforce Optimizer application. So these and all are the features. As I was mentioning, I was just talking about few of the features, right? But here you can see there are 57 items of features that Salesforce Optimizer is providing the results. So here you can see what is the feature type, estimated effort, and what is the status, whether it requires immediate action, what feature required, action required. You see, if there is any review required, it will give us, and if there are no action required also, it will let us know that there are no action currently not enabled, and gives us the status also. So here you can see these and all are the list of features that we have: user logins, data storage limits. Now when you click on the data storage limit on the middle of the page, this split page, right? So here you can see the results are provided, whether what specific action is required. It let us know that it requires an immediate action. Why it requires an immediate action? It also gives us the justification. It says that my current data storage limit is 5.5 MB. And it says if you meet or exceeds your 1 GB per org data storage limit, then users receive errors and can't add new records or data to the Salesforce. On the right hand side, it also gives me the recommendation saying that may the amount of efforts that is required to resolve this issue could be around 30 to 60 minutes. And it is also suggesting what can be done to resolve this issue. So here it says clearly that determine whether you need old records that are lingering in your implementation, export the data that your users no longer need, and then delete it from the Salesforce. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, it also gives me the history, and it also gives me some help documents using which I can refer these documents as per my need. And then it also gives me some premium resources. However, these premium resources are only accessible to customers with premium support. Likewise, there are a lot of different features as mentioned here. Multi-factor authentication adoption, migrating workflow, rules to process builder. Here it says me that you have 6 workflow rules that you can replace with flow. Then it is also giving me the recommendation and estimated efforts. Unassign permission sets. Likewise, field usage. It says review required. It says that there are 22 fields which are completed less than 10% of the time within the last 3 months, which means these 22 fields are used very minimum. So it is asking either to delete the custom fields that your users don't use or need. So as an ideal, it is always the best practice to delete these fields in the Salesforce sandbox environment, before you deploy them to your production. What all the unused reports? You see here, these are all of the unused reports. I never ran it or nobody viewed it. So that is the reason it is telling me that, hey, these and all are the list of 25 unused reports. And here it is asking me, delete the report that you no longer need. Static resources, active validation rules, active workflow rules, file storage limit. Great job. Nothing is there. Right. Likewise, there are 57 items that Salesforce Optimizer shows the results for. Once the Salesforce Optimizer completes the scheduled run, it will send out an email notification saying that the Salesforce Optimizer results are ready. Which specific org the Salesforce Optimizer the run was scheduled. It tells me top issues that need your attention. So these are the top 5 issues that needs action items. We need to take certain immediate action required. And what are the two items that requires action required? And then if you want to join the community, you can also join it directly from the email, or you can use your Salesforce to join the Trailblazer community. So this is what the email looks like. Then if you want to view the files, right? You can also view the optimizer, the results of the optimizer directly from the files also. So let's navigate to the files here from the app launcher. Here you have the Salesforce Optimizer. So I've already opened the Salesforce Optimizer. So whatever you see it on the UI, you will be able to view the same here. It will provide me the list of all the features and what different actions that is required. If there is immediate action, it will let me know that this specific feature requires immediate action. You see here, immediate action is required, review required, review required. Let's go back. And if you want to run the Salesforce Optimizer manually, you can click on the Run Optimizer. When you click on Run Optimizer, it says that the scan will take up to 24. Refresh this browser tab to see if the scan is still in progress. Once you click on Run Optimizer, this Run Optimizer button will be disabled and you will not be able to rerun it until it completes this specific run. Once it is completed, then you will be able to view it in the Salesforce UI application, or you can also go to the files, and if you wanted to view it in the Excel sheet format, you can also open that specific Excel sheet to view the results. So that's all we have for today's session. Until we come up with our next video session, please do take care of yourself. Signing off, yours Namrata Karyala. Bye bye.